Why you call yourself Melio?
See, I call myself Melio because, I had to, when I first started doing music, I wanted to come up with a name, right, that made sense. So the name I came up with was called Melio, right? So the reason why I took that as Melio is that, for one, my nickname is Mel, right? Or Mel. And out in the street, they used to call me Mellow. So I kind of twisted all in with being that I'm a Leo, right? For my Zodiac. So if you think about it, Melio, Mel, Leo, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I came up with that name.
How is it being an entrepreneur?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard because you got to be able to wake up every day with a purpose. You got to be able to wake up, with a creative mind, and you got to be ambitious. So being an entrepreneur, you got to take risks. You know what I'm saying? You got to take good risks, and with those good risks, it comes with bad risks too. So because everything ain't always peaches and cream. You might have to risk your money, just for you can elevate, your business, right? And if it fails, you're the only one that gotta get that money back. Whatever you spent back, you gotta be able to get back. You know what I mean? So, being an entrepreneur is very hard out here. You have to be dedicated. You know what I'm saying? You got to be disciplined. You gotta be tight with your money. You got to know when to spend your money. Stack your bread, invest, and all that good stuff. So,
where are you from?
I'm from Charlotte, born and raised, 704.
I heard you used to live in a shelter as a kid. What state did it start in?
It started in Atlanta. It started in Atlanta when me and my brother, my mom, we were living down there. My mom was trying to find a job, you know what I'm saying, and she couldn't. It's not the fact that she couldn't find one to work one. It was just that back then a lot of jobs were temps, so she had to, just keep going, figuring it out, get these temp jobs, so that she can provide for me and my brother. We started as we kind of fell, right? Because my mom didn't have support and help from my dad. She had to figure it out with us, me and my brother at the time. So, we had to find a way. We had to be grateful in something. So my mom was like, you know what? Shit, we're gonna go somewhere we got shelter right now. With this sacrifice, for all the greater good, it's gonna be good in the end. So, at the end of the day, it all became good at the end.
You used to live in these apartments called Allen Temple. In Atlanta, how was that? And was that a bad area?
Well, it was a bad area. Living in Allen Temple was like, that's where we met them franchise boys when they first came out. Like, yep, in my white tee. You know what I'm saying? We used to see them in the hood. So we had violence. We had gunshots going on. That's when me and my brother and our friends back then, we used to play football in the backyard. Throw them up, bust them up. That's what they used to call it. You know what I'm saying? See, nowadays, kids don't understand what that is. Like, they so used to, being at home and shit, right? No kids go out and play no more like they normally do. So, yeah, we was living in a bad neighborhood at that time. You know what I'm saying? At that time, shit, we just took advantage though. We wasn't like out here selling dope or nothing like that. We were just around and involved around it. You know what I'm saying? So, being around that type of shit, we kind of seen both sides, you know what I'm saying? The good, the bad, and the ugly, you know what I mean? Shit, I'm glad we got up out of there, though.
What was your hustle as a kid?
Shit, boy. Me and my brother and our friends back then, Mark, D, Benjamin, Brandon. Shout out to my niggas, man. I'm telling you, like, we used to, and I can't leave one out, Gabriel, his brothers, you know what I'm saying? Terrell, man, we used to out there take out trash. Bro, we used to take out trash. Bruh, I'm telling you, we used to take out trash. We used to, man, look, at my brother Q, man, we used to goddamn take out trash. We used to goddamn get that money. And then, you know what we used to do with our money? We used to go to the candy lady. Look, we used to go to the candy lady, like, we would make, like, shit. Because, you know, in the hood, you know, we felt like, shit, to make a hustle, right? Take out some trash. Because, you know, our own kind, sometimes, shit, back then, wasn't taking out their trash. So we kind of felt like taking out trash was a hustle. We could easily make money. Because the dumpsters was down there. So we was like, shit, you know what? Let's try that. So we all just came up with that idea, and we started taking out trash. I'm talking about, we used to be hustling so hard that everybody used to like have their own little buildings to go to, right? And then we used to, everybody used to like see each other, right? Going to the buildings and shit. And we like, oh, damn, Quan got a bag. Damn, Benjamin got a bag. Damn, Brandon got a bag over there. Shit, I'm gonna go run up here so they can't take my door. So we used to be, bro. That's one thing I do miss, right? As a kid, man, I used to be a hustler. We used to always be a hustler.
You love your parents?
Hell yeah, I love my dad and my mom. I love them to death. I don't regret shit, man. My dad, I love him to death. You know, he told us, look, whatever y'all want to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? He taught us how to go get it. You know what I mean? He taught us everything. So, you know, as a kid, he always told us like, shit, if anything happened, you know, just shit, call me up. You know what I'm saying? So my dad, you know, he put in his time. You know, even though he wasn't around that long, he put in the time we needed. You know what I'm saying? My mom, she was there all the way. You know what I'm saying? You know, even though my dad wasn't, that don't mean he was an unsuccessful father. It just, he had things in his life that he had to make sure that he handled. You feel me? So, but my mom just took on, you know, like any woman that's liable, you know, I got. That's why I give women the utmost respect, because throughout the relationship, when it comes to being a father, right, and a mother, the mother's gonna always provide, making sure their kids straight. So that's kind of how we kind of grew up a little, you know, throughout the divorce.
If you could go back in time and change your parents' relationship, what would you have did first to better their relationship inside?
Honestly, man, I wish if I could go back though, first thing I'd change is basically being, you know, speak my mind. And you know, as a kid, you know, even though, you know, when you're a kid, you more in your own, you more in the kid's place. You really ain't got no power to really tell your parents or whatever. But I wish I was open-minded, right? And let my dad know, hey, Pop, Grandma, let's go out and go to the park or something. Let's go get some ice cream together. You know, let me, you, and Quan, let's go out and do something. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I would have took more pride into it, you know, or, you know, just us being put off kind of like on the back burner, just kind of us just being kids and standing out the parents' way, we kind of didn't, you know, voice that. So if I could go back, shit, I would have been more like vocal about certain things and letting them know, look, Mom, look, yada yada, look, Dad, yada yada, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get this shit shaking, you know? So.
What made you get into music?
Shit, honestly, what made me get into music? I even ask myself that all the time, like, damn, like, I came from playing football, being into sports, and then now I'm in music. Well, it started off when football wasn't going well. Now, I ain't saying that it was hard. It was very rugged, you know. It started when my car broke down, right? And I started taking advantage of my time at the crib, so I just started rapping freestyles, writing freestyles, you know what I'm saying? Rapping them, like, taking the beat. And I'm like, shit, I did this shit, you feel me? I can use my voice, you feel me? Like, I can goddamn, you know, I ain't trying to be the baby, Lil Baby, all these little artists. I just want to be myself, right? Rather if I don't blow, or rather if I blow. So, shit, that's how I really started. I started in the garage. Look, I started in the garage in the whip. You know what I'm saying? And shit, I just started, every time I got bored, like after I worked out, shit, I just started just freestyling, coming up with my own little art covers and being creative, making my own little, you know what I mean, little videos and shit, right? So that's kind of how I started that.
Where was your mother from?
She was from New York. Yup, Queens, man. Yup.
How did she pass?
She passed over a heart attack.
What was your mother's daily routine, if you could remember, on a chill day?
Oh man, her daily routine. If she wasn't working or nothing, she was at the crib chilling. Her daily routine be like, she'd be watching like Bruce Lee movies, yo. Yo, she used to watch Bruce Lee movies in black and white. And she would make like teas, you know what I'm saying, like how I make my teas, right? That's where I got it from. So she'd make her teas, you know, she'd make all her good little healthy little foods and stuff at home. She'd definitely be talking about Yah, you know what I'm saying, Most High. She'd be in her Bible. What else? Checking up on us, making sure we straight. You know what I mean? I'll be in there playing my game or whatnot. So, or she'll go out with friends. You know, go out with her big cousins and all that. You know what I mean? On my mom, my dad's side, of the family.
How did you feel about graduating from Johnson Smith in 2022?
I felt good. I felt like I accomplished something, right? I felt like I accomplished something. Being that my mom, you know, when she passed away, you know, she told us finish school, so that's pretty much why I felt accomplished. I made her proud, definitely.
How did you feel about your mom's passing?
Man, it feel like a dream still. Like, it feel like a dream. Every day I wake up, for one, I thank the Most High for allowing me to breathe, right? And then, man, I just think about her every day. You know, there's not a day where I'm not thinking about her. But I feel abundant, man. I feel good about talking about it. Because back then, years ago, I couldn't talk about it. Being that she in a better place, being that, you know, I don't have no worries, right? Being that, you know, I ain't got to see her old and die, or her having cancer and I have to go with her to the doctor, you know, not trying to knock, you know, anybody that's going through that, but for me, being that it's over with, you know, those are things that I ain't have to see her, you know, deal with. So she in a better place, you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. That's how I think about it, you know what I mean?
How are you feeling mentally?
I feel great. You know, you have your days, you know, you have your days where you feel like giving up. You have your days where you question everything, right? But I feel good. I feel like now, I wish I had the mindset that I had back then, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and you know, everything in God's timing happened perfectly. So I feel great. Even when I'm going through my trials and tribulations, like right now, you know, I'm going through a lot, but you know what I mean, I'm showing strength. I'm showing gratitude, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking life, right? I'm speaking life to my temple, right? I'm working on my temple. I'm working on my mental, you know what I mean? So anybody out there that's going through it, work on your mental, stay positive, stay out the way. We don't need any more baby mama drama, you know? We don't need any more drama from nobody that's negative. Anybody that's negative, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Shit, even if you gotta lie about it, shit, have good, you know, have an excuse about something just to get away from, do that. You know? Because everybody ain't your friends. Everybody ain't family. Everybody really don't love you. You know what I mean? They say they love you, but they ain't there for you when you need them. So, you know, I'm into good, man. I'm out the way. I'm doing my own thing. You feel me? Like, I'm enjoying life, man. It's beautiful, you know?
How many kids do you have?
I got one. One daughter. One.
Your daughter, Naomi. How old is your daughter, and what do you love about her?
6 years old, man, and beautiful, you know. She changed my life, you know what I'm saying? Shit, when I was out in the street, right, when I was doing things I got no business doing, you know, when days where I wasn't mature about certain situations, all that shit changed, you know. I think clearer, I think deeper, you know, like I said, I'm appreciative about life. Shit, man, and every day I look at her, right, she's just a blessing, you know, and one thing I love about her is that she's very creative. She got the same mindset I got. And she's very powerful, and she's very positive, right? When I come pick her up from school, the little kids just love her. Oh my God, Naomi, that's your dad. Is that your dad? Oh my God. And so she be so jiggly and tickled and everything. And she come give me a hug and, you know, shit like that as a father, you know. That's why I'm so glad I'm in her life, you know. And I tell all the fathers out there, man, be in your child's life, man, because, bruh, you know, even though you might go through it with your baby mom or with whoever you with, love your child, you know what I'm saying?
Your dad, is he around? What's your relationship like with him?
My dad, when I was a kid, he wasn't around like that. You know, ever since my mom and my dad got divorced, like I said, our relationship is always good, even though we bump heads, you know. I love him, you know, I love him to death. You know, and I do kind of see me and him, you know, in some ways, man. So, but, you know, for me, it's to be better, you know what I mean? Be better all around, you know. But I love him to death. That would never fade. I don't care if we up here and then we fall out, you know what I mean? My dad is my everything, you know. It just now I feel like we both, now that I'm grown, me and my brother grown, right? Or all of us, right? All of my brothers grown, we're doing our own thing, right? We're doing things to mold us, for us to be a better father in our future, you know? But hell yeah, you know, he can always reach out, you know, to me or whatnot.
Okay. What's your Zodiac sign?
Leo all day, baby. Leo's the best, even though we sneaky. Even though we can be mean. We can be mean as hell, you know. But we're good people, you know. I don't really believe in Zodiac signs, but because, you know, we could talk about it, you know. We're good people. We love the limelight. We love to be fashionable. We love to be creative. We love to be that leader type, you know, type energy. So there you go.
What happened to your baby mother? Why y'all fell out?
We fell out because, you know, back in my college days, you know, I was immature about a lot of things. And at the time, she was a virgin. So it was some things, right? She grew up in a house, a nice house, and nice things, you know. She grew up with a mom and dad, right? And I'm not trying to blame, but, you know, me growing up in rugged areas and, you know, coming from a poor background, coming from a struggle background, you know, she didn't understand a lot of things that came with me at that time. You know, I was 19. She was like, I think 21. She was 21. So, you know, I still had little immature ways that I had to grow. So, you know, from there, you know, think about it, I was in college, I was balling, you know, doing my thing. You know, there was a lot going on. My mom passed at that time in 2016. I was grieving a lot, so I kind of took advantage of her in a bad way. You know what I mean? And once I started taking advantage of her, it came with a lot of bad. You know, it came with a lot of cheating. Came with a lot of females. Me trying to fuck off on females. Didn't care about nothing. You know what I mean? You know, I had the wisdom, but I just wasn't mature about it. I wasn't, it felt like I was just fearing a change, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of wanted to get everything out, and it just wasn't that time. So, you know, that led to broke ups. You know, we broke up. That led to, you know, ever since my daughter was born, even though that changed me, I still had skeletons in my closet that I had to pretty much, you know, figure out how to heal it. You know, and it took time. So, we fell out because, you know, I was more trying to chase my success. She was more trying to chase hers, but it took her a little time. So I was more kind of like out in the street, you know, out there. She was more at home, you know, make sure Naomi was good, make sure she ate, you know, make sure she was straight. So then I was out in the street, you know what type of shit that lead up to. That lead up to lust. That lead up to a lot of shit. That lead up to, you know, being influenced around, you know, around the crowd, being in the clubs, you know what I'm saying, seeing the hoes. Then, you know, you got friends that might, you know, want to see the hoes as well. So, but I had to get back focused. So that's why we fell out. You know what I'm saying?
What happened to football? I seen you used to play for Johnson Smith.
Oh, football shit. That was my plan A, you know. I was dedicated like a motherfucker, man. Like, every day grinding. But football, what happened to it was, I didn't have the grades, man. I didn't have the grades. Like, I had the grades the later years, right? When I started balling, right? But like, we talking about college, shit, I think it was a semester I had to sit out, but I was still training. You know, I was still working outside, right? Every like 4 days, maybe 5 days out the week. You know, training, get my footwork right. You know, I still got old videos on my YouTube channel where, you know, it's showing me where I'm just grinding every day, like putting in that pain, putting in that work. You know, while nobody watching. And my friends, you know, they chimed in too. So my guys, you know, my niggas that I used to fuck with back then, they related to the story of mine. So football started to fade, but it was seeming like it was hard for me to get in because of my grades. So, you know, that's kind of where everything kind of left off at. I played though at Johnson Smith, you know what I mean, like a semester, and I ran track. Because I didn't play the full year, I ran track to keep me in shape. You know what I mean? Because at that time, I wanted to do something. You know, I just didn't want to go to school. You know, if one door closed, I wanted the other door to open. You know what I mean? So I had to figure it out. Like, man, nah, fuck. And then on top of that, what really happened too, when my mom passed, I was depressed like a motherfucker. Like, I'm talking about, I ain't want to do shit. Like, at that time, my baby mom had to tell me, look, you need to, come on now, don't give up. Like, you need to be doing something. So, I was in and out. I went all the way in. You know, a lot of people like, yo, why you didn't use that as motivation, man? It make you go harder. It was, that shit like that, bro, from the age I was, that shit took a toll on me. I just wasn't built like that at that time. So, but now, shit, I'm built like a motherfucker. I'm stronger. You know, and I still got it now. I still got it. Still can run that 4-4.
I see that you had your clothing, sportswear coming soon. What's up with that? What that means? Sportswear GTW?
Sportswear GTW means sportswear, get this work. You know what I mean? Get this work, my slogan. You know what I mean? You know, get to work. Get this work or get to work. You know what I'm saying? However you want to see it. But yeah, shit, that's coming out pretty soon. That's coming out in like 4 months. I'm gonna start back in 4 months. Like probably like in like October-ish, October, November.
And your fitness brand as well, called Fitness GTW. What that mean?
Fitness, get this work. Fitness, get to work. You know, the same thing. I just wanted to use it. I just kind of wanted them to. I could have made it one brand, but I kind of want to make two because sportswear, you know, sportswear is more like just more the authentic, the clothing, and fitness. I want to kind of separate that to be just strictly fitness. You know what I mean, like that.
What was your first job?
Man, my first job was Hollister, man. Man, I hated that shit so much, bro. Man, they weren't paying shit. Shit, when school was over, after I got out of summer school, right? Man, my mom was like, shit. I started smelling myself, right? So, you know, money started getting low. She like, shit, nigga, you get to that age, your ass need to find a job. So, in my head, I'm like, a job, man. I want to train. I want to play football. Like, I'm out here grinding. She like, look, in order for you to have a roof over your head, you got to be able to chip in. So, Man, I worked at Hollister. Shit, I was like, man, all right. So my mom, she took me there, did an application online, and so I got a job interview with them, and then my mom, she drove me down there. She was happy. She was like, oh yeah, this motherfucker get some money now. He can be able to help my ass with a light bill, bill, water bill, whatever bill she got. So I did that, but that shit didn't last long. I did it for like a good about 3 weeks, like 3 weeks. I got tired of that shit. I was like, man, I don't want this shit. This shit I ain't used to this work shit.
What high school you graduated from?
West Mecklenburg High School, you know what I mean? What's up?
What position in football did you play for?
Wide receiver, you know, slot, fast guy, like Odell Beckham, you know. They used to call me Deshaun Jackson, D-Jax. Ask my brother, JV, they used to call me D-Jax. I was fast, you know.
Your brother played at NC State University back in 2015.
Yeah.
How was that seeing you elevate as a little brother?
And it motivated me real hard. Like, when my brother finally, after everything he went through, working at Walmart, you know, trying to, you know, because at that time, my mom lost her job, right? My brother had to step in to be the father. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know my brother's story. And that's why, you know, we definitely gonna get back on my podcast soon. And he gonna talk to y'all a little bit about it more. But coming from my knowledge as a little brother, it motivated me real bad. Because my brother, he worked at Walmart full time and going to CPCC in Charlotte, right? Community college. So he was full time and working full time and training. Cause I used to train with him. I got old videos, we was running hills. I'm talking about we was outside for real. We was on the west side, right? Right, we was working out right behind West Charlotte. So, man, yeah. So, but yeah, he definitely motivated me because when he made the team, he called moms. My mom had like me and my mom was at the crib at the time, and he had a trial for the team and everything. I still remember. My mom got the phone call and everything. She was like, oh, wait, what's going on, son? What's going on? And my mom was like, Mom, guess what? I made a team. She started shouting and everything. I came out the room because, you know, I was playing my game. I came out the room and shit. And I said, Mom, what's going on? She had him on speaker and everything. And she was like, oh, you know, Quan made a team. And I was like, bro, you made a team. I took the phone from my mama. I'm like, oh, you made a team, nigga. You made a team. So that right there for us growing up, like I said, growing up from bad poverty, growing up and just being, you know, living in the shelters, my brother kind of set the tone at that time. And that motivated me to, it told me, look, shit, whatever you put your mind to, you can do everything. So he was a perfect example from my vision for me to say, you know what, whatever, even if football don't work out, whatever I put my mind to, nigga, I'm doing everything in my power. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, at that time, it was great. So he definitely motivated me, man. I ain't know what the fuck was going on, you know?
Being that you've been through so much, what is your purpose at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, man, my purpose is to honestly motivate the people, tell my story, you know, keep being there for people who wants to elevate, who desire, right? Let me change that. Who desires change for themselves, being able to talk about what they want to do in life, you know, and pursuing it, right? So my purpose is to give my story, speak my story, uplift people, motivate people, and vent to people that needs to be vented on, or whatever situation they dealing with, and let them know, look, you got it, bro. You know, motivate them, and that's my purpose right now, and I love it because my mouth moves mountains. Whatever I desire in the universe, you know, the universe create that path, and I just like to it'll just pass along.
Who was Yah?
Oh yeah, Yah is the Most High, the only God right now that created the world. That's his real name. A lot of people don't know his real name. A lot of people don't. I am that I am. I am that I am only means speaking presence in the Most High. So he is him. He is the present. I am that I am means he is the present. It doesn't mean Yah, right? But it does has the value of speaking power to the universe, right? You know, if y'all go back to Exodus 3:14 and read that scripture, Moses said, the Most High told Moses, I am that I am has sent you, right? I am that I am has sent you. So he's already in the present, right? Speaking to the Most High. So anytime we get up, anytime we do something, we're doing it in the present. When we get up, when we walking what? Forward. Everything is forward. We're not getting up backwards. We're not walking backwards. We're walking forward every day.
As an artist, what type of job you need to invest in your career? What's a good job to work while coming up?
As an artist, man, I would say getting a trade. That's what helped me. I'm gonna drop some gems, man. Getting a trade. Go to school to be an electrician, right? Go to school to be a maintenance technician. Go to school to be an architect. You know what I mean? Go to school to be that deals with, you know, plumbing, right? Get your HVAC license, right? I got my HVAC. I got my plumbing, you know. So that's why I'm able to produce. That's why I'm able to put a lot of money aside, because when you're working at 9 to 5, you're actually getting real money, right? I don't want to slave at Amazon, you know what I'm saying? Even though I ain't trying to knock everybody that's trying to start somewhere, but man, we live in a world where shit is expensive. And shit, I want nice shit, you know what I mean? You feel me? I want to be able to buy my woman or take her out on a date or something, you know, when I got it. You know, I want to be able to take care of my kids, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to have enough for me when I want to ball out, you know? So get in the trade, stop selling yourself short, you know, get in the trade for my men, right? You know, women look different, you know. Women can't be in the trade because, you know, they don't have jobs for women. But for the men, get in the trade, bro. Go take that course, pass that shit so you get your license, and they start paying you $30, $40, $50 an hour. We ain't talking about no 17, 18, 19. We talking about starting up like 28, maybe 25, you know, starting up. But 28, and you start really touching that real money. And then you just invest, you know? Like, if I'm bringing home like $2,500, you know, off my check, or $3,000, you know, after my bills, shit, now I can invest in my music, you know, into my cover art. Even though I create my own cover art, so I ain't gotta really worry about that. But if I wanted to, I had the money to really invest in it. You know, studio time, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta find ways, you gotta find your niche, you know what I mean? So get in the trade.
I see that you're very spiritual. What made you motivate people?
Really, man, honestly, seeing my mom doing it. You know, seeing my mom doing it because, you know, she was into it. She always, one thing I love about my mama, right? And I know she not perfect. She had things she was dealing with, but at the end of the day, she was walking proof. She was a walking testimony. And so the things that she were talking about, and the things that she was teaching me and my brother at the time about the Bible and Yah, and just she was just always finding interesting facts, right? That made sense, and she started putting things together. So all in all, like I started being inspired by my mom and really start being behind her tail. Like she might come home like, yo, Sean, Quan, guess what I found out in the Bible? Or guess what I found out God's real name is, right? You know, yada yada yada. Oh, or she'll just, you know, she just, and it won't register because we were kids, so we kind of really didn't program things that fast like her. But as we start getting older, going through things and shit, we start seeing things, signs, having vivid dreams. Especially my brother used to have vivid dreams about things, so shit, we kind of just fall into it. And ever since then, we start tapping in even more. You know, even right now, I'm still learning. You know, I don't have it all together, but I'm not lost like a lot of people is. You know what I'm saying? No shade, but shit, the way the world going on right now, the way people mindsets are right now, killing themselves. You know what I'm saying? That shit weak. But yeah, that's kind of how I started. That's how I got through it. And being that I'm spiritual, you know, I feel like it uplifts me. You know, it uplifts me. And so because of it, I learn by my own speaking, by my own self, right? By my own teaching. Like I can tell somebody, look, Most High don't want us to do this, or, you know, look, if you do this, it's gonna be some consequences. So me telling them that, I'm actually feeding my spirit and teaching my spirit at the same time. You know what I mean?
What's abundance living?
Abundance living, man. Thank God. Live comfortable. Appreciate the small things. You know, appreciate you got wheels. You can go home peaceful. You know what I mean? That's living abundance. That's living with abundance. You know, being able to eat healthy. Being able to eat. You know, being able to, you know, afford things. Because, you know, without you being blessed, you won't be able to have the things you got. You know what I mean? So that's what abundance living is. Being able to be rich in the mind, you know. Even though a lot of people, like they say, we already rich, right? We gotta be rich already. We gotta speak that. So when you're abundance, when you're walking in abundance, you're speaking things like it's fake, right? You're believing in something and you know something's gonna happen. You gotta have what? You gotta have faith. You gotta have strength. You gotta know that it's gonna work. You feel me?
What's your imperfections?
My imperfections, man, is, you know, being able to let go of things. I think that was one of my biggest falls, me holding on to a lot of things, so it led to bad choices, you know what I mean? And being around people that wasn't for me at that time.
Where can you see yourself doing in 2030?
I see myself being wealthy, you know what I mean? Being wealthy, having a family, finally sitting down, you know? I mean, I'm sitting down now, I'm slow. I ain't like how I was in my 20s, but being able to finally settle down, being married, you know what I mean, for sure. By 2030, before 2030, I'm gonna be married. So maybe 28, 29, you know, who knows, 20 goddamn 7. So I'm definitely, before 2030, I'm gonna have a family, I'm gonna be settled down, and it's gonna be a lot of motion going on, right? A lot of money getting played on, a lot of money getting made. So.
Alrighty. Any more songs, videos you're working on? I see that you have a lot of projects and freestyles. What's your focus point?
I love freestyling. I love to just freestyle about life, my challenges in life, my struggles, right? My story. I got videos coming out this summer. I got a lot of videos out because my purpose was I really wanted to just put out my music, like put it all out, like just put it all out. That way I can go back on it, I can rehearsal it, I can, you know, actually tap in, invest with the quality work. You know, when you got a lot of shit going on, you're a family man, you got bills, you living downtown, you got car payments, you got all type of shit going on, you got family, friends, you got your girl, you know, you might go out. So it's a lot of things when you're doing it independent, you gotta make sure that you got everything put aside, right? So I kind of wanted to put out my music. So now I got all my music. I got an album dropping out. My last album of 2026, Space Vibes 2. So I got that coming out. Basically, with that album is me speaking things into existence, speaking space, utilizing the universe, speaking to the universe as if it was my woman, you know, speaking to the world as if the mentality, the spiritual mind, using the art of nature, using the art of space, you know, that type shit, using that and putting it in my freestyles, right? So I got a lot of that going on. But me, when I first started, like, I had to find my voice. I definitely had to find my voice. So now I'm just kind of mastering my craft. You know, I still need work. I definitely need work. You know, I ain't trying to be like nobody else but me.